Hello and welcome back to a one more interesting session with AZ-305 exam preparation. Guys, welcome to the tutorial. So, as like we have compromised, like in AZ-204, we had covered lots of good questions and examination point of view. We had a discussion how to crack the exams of 204. So moving ahead, those who have cracked 204, they can proceed with 305, which is basically the designing Azure infrastructure solution. And this is the next level of certification of after 204. So 204 is basically solution. Is a solution, basically solution for solution of it's a kind of like providing a solution to Microsoft, but here we are designing solution. So the level of question is going to be a kind of very interesting. So yeah, move ahead. Let's move on and start our course of 305. Basically, we are going to discuss few questions in this tutorial, and as we go on, we will be discussing more questions time to time. Going ahead, there will be much new questions which will be very helpful to you to crack the exam. So I request you to this practice these questions and analyze these questions, which is important in a point of view to crack the exam. Yeah, so let's move on. So you need to design a solution to generate a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager uh, resource deployment in Azure subscription. So what you should recommend? So here we should recommend Azure Activity Log. So basically the Azure Activity Log, what it does, it generate a monthly report of all the Azure ARM resources in the Azure subscription. So yeah, Azure Activity Log is the correct answer. So yes. So you have a SQL server or on a Azure virtual machine, and the database are written to nightly as a part of batch process. You should recommend a disaster recovery solution for the data. The solution must meet the following requirement. So please, so you have to provide ability to recover the event of a regional outage, support a recovery time object, RTO of 15 minutes, support a recovery point of RPO of 24 hours, support recommend automated recovery and minimize cost. What you should recommend in the solution? So you should recommend Azure Site Recovery in that case, because it will provide all this ability to recover from a regional outage. So what Azure Site Recovery will help to support time objective of 15 minutes, RTO support recovery of RTO of 24 hours, and it should minimize the cost as well. So yeah, so the correct answer should be Azure Site Recovery. Move ahead. Yeah. So you have an Azure subscription that contains Azure Blob storage account named Store One, and you have an on-premises file server named as Server One that runs on Windows Server 2016. So server one stores 1500 GB of company files. You need to store a copy of the file from server in store one. So which two possible Azure service will achieve this goal? And each correct answer should present a complete solution. So the each correct section is over the point. So the correct answer should be Azure import and export job. So basically, Azure export and import job, basically what it does, it helps you to kind of like store a large amount of file, and from Azure export import you can move the file from one location to other location. So so here in our requirement, we had a store of copy of company file from server one. We want to move to store other store. So so Azure import export is the best solution, which represents to kind of we can use it so that it will be very helpful. Yeah. So moving on to next question. So we have an Azure subscription, and the subscription contains Azure Virtual Machine that runs on Windows Server 2016 and Linux. Now you need to use the Azure Monitor to design an alert kind of strategy for security-related events, which Azure Monitor logs table your query and answer that. So what we have to drag right side like correct answers. Like okay, so which one should it should like kind of like should use to for the event log and for the system Linux event system log. So these are the options you will get. You have to drag like this to this place. So yeah, that will correct the answer. Yeah, so event you can use for event for Windows log, and for system logging you can use table. So yeah, so if you use this one, so it should be correct, because yeah. So move ahead. Yeah, so next question is it's like a multiple choice, multiple correct answers will be there. So you are designing a large Azure environment that will contain many subscriptions. So you plan to use Azure policy as a part of government solution to which three scopes you can assign Azure policy definition. So it's right. So what basically you have to do, you have to design a Azure environment that contain many subscription. So you plan to use Azure policy as a part of government solution. So you have first of all you have to have a subscription, then you must have a resource group, you have a management group. So these three things you must have. So this three scope you must have to so that you can assign policy definition, and you can plan some policy as a policy as a part of government solution. So these three are the recommended to you must have before you proceed to do that as a policy. You know. So the next question is you need to design a storage solution for an app that will store large amount of frequent use data. That the solution must meet the following requirements. So uh, you need to design a solution, a kind of like a design solution for an app that will store large amount of frequent data. That solution must meet the following requirement. It should have minimal data throughput. It should have prevent the modification of data for 1 year, minimize latency of read and write operation. The select which just account type and account should be you recommend like in this below to use so that it should prevent the modification of data for 1 year, minimize the data throughput. So yeah, blob storage, then storage blob. These are recommended. So these are like important. You can use for in the storage account. You can use blob storage, block storage account, blob storage. What it does, it prevents the modification of data for a certain period of time, whatever you have defined. Then it will minimize the throughput as well. And the storage you can use blob. Blob is like a Azure storage account for account type, which is like kind of give this functionality. Moving on to next, which storage accounts you should recommend using each app for each app. Mm, select the appropriate option in the area. So each correct section is so app one you can use each using each app. App one you can use storage one, storage three, and app two uh, you can use kind of like you can use storage one, storage two, and storage four. Now you are designing a application that will be used to be hosted in Azure. The application will host video files that range from 15 GB, 50 MB to 12 GB. The application will use certificate-based authentication will be entered. You will need to recommend a storage option for the video file. The solution must provide the faster and performance. So, so in that case, we can use Azure Blob Storage. Blob Storage will provide storage option for video files, and that must provide fastest read and write operation. So Azure Blob Storage are fastest, and we should recommend it to use for the application where we have a videos file, and the range of file is more than 15 MB to 12 GB. So in that case, we can use Azure Blob Stores. So yeah, that is all for today. Thank you for watching. So yeah, we will come with the next with you with some good and more questions which are likely to like which I came across in the examination I came across. So there is like I created this video for you guys so that you can also crack the exam, you can learn it and you can crack the exam. So don't forget to subscribe and like, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please press the bell icon so that you can get the updated video also, and don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you very much.